So welcome to Close the Door Behind You. It's December 6th, I believe. We've got Wolfgang, who is a local comedian here in New York City. So welcome, Wolfgang. Looking forward to having you tonight on our show out in Jersey at the Double Tap.
I'm looking forward to it, too.
Chris Tos is stuck in traffic right now. He just rented a car, and I think he got like in a wrestling confrontation with the person at the front counter, and so he's got a little bit of a delay. He'll be here soon, though.
Okay, cool. He got in a fight with the black lady at Hertz Rent-A-Car.
Yep.
That's nice. Good for him, man. He's really making some big moves in his career.
Him and the guy from the assassin from the United Healthcare. So we were just talking about that warming up.
Bike, riding it down the BQE.
Yeah, so I thought that was funny, though. What you were alluding to was like so just to kind of give you guys like a little bit of update. So the CEO of United Healthcare just got assassinated.
Brian Thompson. Let's put some respect on his name.
Thank you, Brian Thompson. CEO Brian Thompson.
A good man died.
of Minnesota from United Healthcare got assassinated. And I guess that's the biggest thing in the news. And Wolfgang, you were just saying that. What was your theory on it? That he was from where?
Oh, I feel like that if this was me, if I was trying to get away with it, what if he just lives here and he did a whole roundabout trip to make it seem like he's coming from somewhere else?
Yeah.
So they're trying to plot like how he got out of the city or where he came from, when in reality he's just still here.
He's in his mom's like basement in Staten Island.
Yeah, he's literally he's out in fucking Montauk right now, chilling.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty funny though. Well, not funny, but he like you were telling me. I was confused as to how they have a picture of him smiling, but you said something pretty interesting. What was that?
So what they did is what they do, and anytime you commit a crime, this is like one of the more heavily monitored cities in the United States, behind like cities like Chicago. Chicago having some of the most like CCTV cameras around in any city, and then like San Francisco and places like that, just places with like lots of infrastructure and big tech. You're almost always on camera. And he did a pretty good job of plotting out where like blind spots and cameras were, just keeping his face covered for the most part. But I think he had to check into a hostel that they like found that he had stayed in, because essentially what they do is they try to find you where you're committing the crime, and then they like backtrack through cameras around the city to try to find a place where you have your mask down. So like there was a comic named Leo Cofresi that like allegedly shot a man on the train, and I was talking to like a guy who's like an ex-beat cop who does comedy, and he was telling me what they did is they found, because he had a shiesty on when he shot the guy.
What's a shiesty?
A shiesty is those masks cool black teenagers wear when they do Showtime.
Oh, okay, train. Gotcha.
It covers your face, you know.
All right.
So you can commit crimes. They're made for skiing in cold winter weather, but people in big cities use them to commit crimes.
Gotcha.
Or just kind of, it's also just a fad, a fashion trend. It's kind of just that's caught on, where it's like you're hard or you're legit or cool if you have a shiesty on.
Okay.
You're about that life, so to speak. But this guy Leo Cofresi, he shot a guy, and they just pinned him camera to camera to camera until they found him without his mask on, and he had been arrested before, so his like face was in their
in the database,
and they like just pinged him immediately. But he fled. He like got out of the state. I don't know where he's, probably like in the Dominican Republic or something.
Oh, they never found him?
They never got him. He had to quit comedy and like flee, but they never got him. He's a free man still. God bless him.
He's being funny somewhere on a beach.
Probably. He doesn't seem like a guy that like you can keep down just by like having him an APB out on him.
Damn.
But this guy, they like had kind of traced him, trying to use cameras to figure out where he ditched the bike. They found a phone. They don't know if it's his personal or a burner phone.
Yeah.
They're still trying to unlock it. They have to go through probably like Apple or whatever. Like
I heard that
provider.
He fled on a city bike.
He did. So you can jailbreak city bikes pretty easily.
Okay.
There's plenty of people that just steal them and disable the GPS tracking in them.
Okay.
And then they install their own batteries, because I think it's like I want to say that the GPS is in the e-battery.
Okay.
That, gives it the motorized like extra pep in the step.
I was just thinking, like, how do you possibly get
they
the
saw
thing
him.
out of
they saw him charging the e-bike with his own personal battery.
Oh. What, like out in front of the hostel?
Out in front of like near the Hilton Hotel. They've been reported like charging, because you can charge it at those little, those big stations where you can plug in your phone and make phone calls. You can just.
So that's kind of weird.
I mean, it's incredibly like resourceful. I mean, but like, dude, like teenagers fucking steal city bikes and jailbreak them. It's not like a super complex. I don't know how to do it, but like I'd imagine it's pretty like it's more of like a easy thing to do. There's a ubiquity to it.
I follow these guys on Instagram that do things on city bikes, like they'll jump shit. And they're so fun. I forget what the handle is, but they're like, blasting off stuff and like doing tricks and stuff, and like it's so funny.
I tried to do a trick on a Lime bike once when I was drunk, and I like fell and hit the pavement and got a big concussion and convulsed a little bit. My eyes did that thing like an old TV does, where it goes like bloop, and then came back to in like a second. I didn't lose consciousness, but like my eyeball shut off.
So what do you think was the motive here? Like,
I don't know, being a cool guy. I don't know. It's hard to say because there's not a lot of like details about it out. Obviously, he had carved, defend, deny, and something else into shell casings.
Delay,
yeah. But that could easily also just be something to throw the trail and not establish a clear motive.
Right.
The thing you want to, I think, if you're trying to kill a person, that you should do is you shouldn't make it so the motive is not unclear, or make it seem like it's a different motive than what it was.
Right.
But it also could just be at face value, Occam's razor guy that's like fed up with like the healthcare system and did something about it. But it's just people with those skill sets rarely try to take on the establishment. They usually are recruited and like
100%.
work for
Here's
it.
the deal, though. When you have an issue with healthcare, it's typically not from somebody who's like in their mid-20s.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, so in other words, it's either somebody who has like, I don't know, had to use insurance and got denied, or
somebody might have lost a loved one. You never know.
Right. That's possible for sure.
But that's why it's like it's a good like red herring to put out there, because it's like it's a plausible motive. But I don't know. Like at this point, this guy's been in the wind so long that I feel like if they caught him, they would just try to recruit him and turn him into like a CIA asset.
Sure, like an operative or something like that.
Yeah, because it's like
a Jason Bourne.
It kind of is a waste to throw somebody that is that good at evading 21st century law enforcement into jail.
Yeah.
Like if I was like somebody at Langley right now, I would be trying to figure out how do we get this guy to kill Putin or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. He's do you remember that kid who he used to play like a airplane simulator, and he actually like stole airplanes, went to the Bahamas. Is that what it is? Sky King?
Oh no, this Sky King was somebody in the Pacific Northwest. He stole an airliner. He didn't go to the Bahamas with it. He was like doing like loop-de-loops.
No, this
and
kid
just had
was
a manic
like...
episode. He crashed it into like the forest and died. But he like a lot of people can teach themselves how to fly off of flight simulators.
Yeah. So this kid was like amazing. So I think they did the same thing. Like I think they recruited this kid, and he's like doing stuff for the government right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I guess so. This guy that shot him. I mean, it seems like he was it doesn't seem like he was like a family member. I mean, this dude was like, he didn't just like run up to him and like shoot him and run. Like he literally
he had a
calmly,
calm stance and
super calm.
They're saying that it wasn't professional because he shot at a distance that a hitman wouldn't. I think law enforcement's just trying to like make excuses that they're doing a bad job. But suppressors can jam guns a lot, especially if like they're incompatible with like the ammo types you're using.
Right.
It's very hard to get a legal suppressor. You usually have to submit you can get them in 42 states, I think.
Well, another thing is like,
but you have to submit your fingerprints and do like a lengthy background check.
But listen, to actually like do the engineering to get the wording on the shell casing, I'm sure that's traceable. Like what kind of machine was able to do that? Like if they ever find that machine that was used for, I mean, who knows where the hell it is.
On the shell case. Well, you can carve with a pocket knife into a shell casing.
Oh, you think that it was like a very crudely done?
I don't know. I haven't seen the pictures. It really depends. But you could use also like a laser instrument.
It almost sounds like they should recruit you for the team. I'm impressed.
Because you don't want to use something that heats up the shell, because then you can just explode the gunpowder.
Yeah, that would suck.
So
that wouldn't be good.
Usually use a knife to carve things.
Have you ever shot any guns before?
Absolutely.
Okay. Where'd you grow up again?
North Carolina.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Mostly 308 rifles, because that's like what's easily accessible, because it's a hunting. That's a popular ammunition grade for hunting.
Got you.
But I also just had a lot of friends that were ex-military, so like, which is where I learned a lot of this stuff from, where they just tell you how to do it.
Right.
Like one guy taught me if you put styrofoam cups in isopropyl alcohol, it just makes something cool.
What does it make? A bomb or something like
napalm.
That? It makes napalm?
It makes napalm.
No way. Wow. Crazy. You know what I found was like pretty amazing is that like how little regulation there is on guns. So for example, like I moved to Florida like 20 years ago, and everybody had guns. After a while, I noticed like everybody had a gun. And so I bought a gun just so I can understand like how to use them. Like
Mm-hmm.
if one fell out in front of me in a bad situation, I would know how to like.
What kind of gun did you buy?
So the first gun that I bought was just a revolver.
Okay.
It was a Smith & Wesson hammerless.
That's a pretty good gun.
Yeah.
You don't leave shells behind.
Well, like it's like 5 shots. It was just for home defense, obviously.
Oh, it wasn't a 6-shot revolver. It was 5 shots.
It was, I believe, it was only 5. It was a small one. It was a little tiny, like.
Oh, cool.
Very something like you're supposed to be able to.
Concealed carry type gun.
Yeah, for sure. Everything was concealed carry, and then like also, I guess like the reason why they told me to get the hammerless is because if you have it in your pocket and you go to pull it out, you won't accidentally like hit the hammer and shoot yourself in the balls.
Yeah.
Which that guy from the Giants did, but. Then, like, after that,
Yeah.
I ended up getting, like, I bought a shotgun, and then I ended up getting a Glock. So, long story short of it, though, my point is that when I left the state to come up to New York, I actually gave the guns to a neighbor of mine who had a gun safe.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was like, hey, like, can you put these in your gun safe? Because, I don't want them, like, I turned my house into an Airbnb, so obviously I don't want somebody like
to stumble upon.
Yeah. So long story short of it, this neighbor of mine and I had let's say a difference of opinion,
Mm-hmm.
and he no longer is talking to me, and so I've reached out to him to like get the guns back, or at least like get the guns secured,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want them to fall into anybody's like hands that shouldn't have them.
There's guns registered in your name that you don't have access to.
Thank you.
That's crazy.
Thank you. Listen, no, you understand. I've hired an attorney.
Yeah.
I've called the gun stores that I bought them from. I called the police.
Oh yeah.
I've done everything in my power to be like, hey, and all of them are like,
honestly,
there's nothing we could do.
If I was in a gripe and I had his position, I would just give them to teenagers and see what happens.
Right? Yeah.
What did you guys argue over?
So it's such a sad, stupid story. Like, it was a buddy of mine from like childhood friends. It was over. He was doing some work on my house. I paid him like all in full, which is obviously a mistake, but he was a friend of mine. So I was like, no big deal. Listen, like, I think I gave him like $20,000 or $25,000. I was converting my 2-bedroom house to a 4-bedroom house.
Wow.
So he was just putting up some like walls and stuff. And I went down there, he kept saying, he's like, yeah, it's going to take like, 10 days. And I'm like, yeah, right, 10 days. Like 10 days, it's going to be like 6 weeks. Like after like 6 months, I'm like, dude, what the F is going on? So I went down there to check it out, and like 85% of it was done. And anyway, long story short, like we just got in this like, we got in an argument, and he just decided that we weren't going to be friends anymore. Actually, it's funny. He did it in a very creative way, because I went down there and like when I tell you I've known this guy for like my whole life, I've known him my whole life. I grew up with him in New Jersey, and he started dating. This sounds just so sad, so stupid, but he started dating this girl we both grew up with recently. And when I came into town, I took all of them to dinner because I was like all excited to be back in town. I've been living in New York City, and we all had this dinner. At the end of the dinner, give him a big hug, whatever, go home. In the morning, he calls me and says like leaves me this cryptic like message, like saying all this like horrible stuff. And I like called him like thinking he was kidding around, but he was like, yeah, you said some bad stuff to my girlfriend and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she claims that she said, oh, I'm going to stop being a teacher. I think I'm going to do some writing. And so she says that I told her, oh, well, maybe you could write for Pornhub, which is stupid and sounds like something I would probably say, but it's not necessarily grounds to like break up a 40-year friendship. But I sincerely don't even remember saying anything. That's stupid.
What would you even write for Pornhub? It's all user-based.
We'd have to ask Chris Tos, who's got that whole bit on Pornhub.
You could do copywriting, but everything is like...
It was like, when I tell you, like, it was so like, I don't even remember saying it, but if I did say it, it's like, is it really worth, like...
Well, you drink, right?
I do.
Yeah, I have the same problem where it's like, sometimes, it's hard to, because especially in comedy, because there's so many, like, sociopaths who lie and, like, pathological liars, that sometimes, like, people will say a thing that they claim I said, and sometimes they'll be like, I was drunk, maybe.
Right.
You're so like, that sounds like something in the ballpark, but sometimes some people say a thing that feels like a lie. Like the other day, somebody at the stand saw me and they're like, I thought you said you were moving to Austin, which was like a thing I was contemplating like a year and a half ago.
Okay.
But I was like, there's no way I said that to him the last time I saw him.
Right.
But I was like, also the last time I saw him, I was like 5 whiskeys deep.
Hammered.com.
So I was, dude, I was bomb.com. I was, it was rumpus time. So I'm liable. I could have just been like, yeah, fuck this city. I'm going to fucking Austin. Everybody can suck my fucking dick. Walk out of the stand. But I don't know. It's hard. But yeah, it seems like this is a new girlfriend.
No, this was a girlfriend. So he was newly. I took this girl to prom.
So it was a girl you
ago.
dated.
It's a girl I dated. We all like grew up together, and he just started dating her again, like dating her later in life. And so we were all like, I don't know. I don't know.
Damn, dude.
It just there's so many layers to it, and it's so sad. But the bottom line is, there's some guns out there that are registered to me. That I can't find.
And one of them killed the CEO.
I was just about to say. Yeah. Could you fucking like? That's what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about it's going to be used in a crime. They're going to do all this forensic bullshit, and they're going to be like, oh, it belongs to this emergency doctor.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's like you will likely have an alibi. It'll just create like a lengthy, judiciary process that you have to go through.
Well, that's
that
why
would suck.
That's
you
why
might
I did
be
everything.
Charged for liability in some ways, in like civil cases, like if somebody got shot.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And that's
might
the
even be
scary
worse.
But that's tough. That sucks.
Yeah.
But hey, at least that guy got shot, and Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield decided to renege their we're not going to pay for anesthesia anymore.
That's so
policy.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. The bullets make people talk different, man.
Anthem's been getting tough too. They're all getting really tough. It's crazy.
Yeah, I had to switch out of Anthem because I had Anthem and Medicaid, and like I lived in this apartment that had black mold. It was like I lived there for I'd been staying there for like 2 years because of the girl I was dating. She lived there, and then I moved in with her recently.
Okay.
Around the 2-year mark.
Yeah.
And I was like getting extra sick. I was always sick coming home from her house, and then I got extra sick. And I was like, "Hey, is there like mold in your house or something?" Because like I'm like hacking up a lung. Like
you're like, because it burns when I pee, and I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Exactly.
You must have mold.
Yeah,
I got this thing growing on my
mold
dick.
in hooker pussies.
Is there mold growing in your walls?
Yeah, she had a pipe that burst, and I was like, "Did they dry everything out and like replace the pipe?" She's like, "No, they just like slapped like tape on it and like closed the ceiling up." I'm
that works well for iron.
Yeah, that's super. Yeah, so there's just a mold outbreak, and it impacted my sinuses. I have like all these like old Jewish man diseases now, where like I have like chronic sinusitis, and I have maybe AFib. I have like bronchitis that like has developed into asthma, so like I wheeze a lot. I know all
How
this
old
good
are you?
stuff. 26, dude.
Wow. 26.
It's
man.
fucking. It sucks.
So young. I remember when I was 26 though, thinking I was so old.
I don't think that I'm old. I just think that like I've done some things early in my life that are gonna set me back when I'm older.
Like what?
Well, just the getting like asthma and like the sinus thing. So long story short, like I have these 2 big health problems because of it. And I went to an ENT to get a diagnosis. Like, oh yeah, you have sinus disease. You just need to see like I'd basically have to get like this reconstructive thing on my sinuses, but you have to go through like a rhinoplasty surgeon to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like you're waiting behind all these like bitches getting nose jobs.
Right.
One, and then you do the
They're
consultation.
gonna make $10,000 in the rhinoplasty and $600.
The consultation alone out of pocket because insurance won't cover it because it's an elective procedure.
Right.
Even though like I have like sleep apnea at 26.
Right.
Is $500.
Yeah.
And Anthem like refuses to cover any of it.
Yeah.
And it's a big bummer. So needless to say, I was pretty happy this week. Even though it's a different CEO for a different company, it feels kind of all intertwined.
It's
they're all on notice.
It's definitely it's there's definitely a lot of jokes being written about it.
I mean, dude, all these companies pulled their leadership pages. People are like deleting their LinkedIns because they don't want to get
no way.
They don't want to get shot.
Wow.
Which I don't think is. I think it makes sense, but like, it's realistically it's this. Anytime like a big breach in security that nobody really thought about being plausible happens, it changes the way society functions. Like if you think about 9/11, that's a thing that can only happen once because once it happens, they're like, well, we're gonna devise a system that keeps that from being the case. So it's like we're gonna see some like levels of clandestine activities from health.
I'm always like
insurers.
close to all these things that happen. Like I was actually an emergency doctor on 9/11 here in New York City.
That's super cool.
I was also like one of the ER doctors. Like the people like when
this
that
fucking
stuff.
guy.
How you doing, buddy?
Sorry, I
Yeah,
cut
went
you
all
off.
like so. Yeah, so I was like working in Orlando at another hospital when that shooter went into that club, that like
The gay
club.
nightclub.
I was actually working at the
Pulse.
hospital. Yeah, Pulse. I was in Broward County when
Big
the
fan.
Parkland, I was actually in Colorado on a ski trip when the Parkland thing happened. They all got brought to my hospital,
And-
they're calling me like, "Hey, can you come in?" I'm like,
That's crazy.
"I'm in Breckenridge." Yeah.
You're skiing.
Yeah, I was
Hey,
skiing.
sorry, kids. I'm
Yes,
fucking shredding some gnar.
Yeah.
Good luck
So,
with
like,
that.
I feel like what was that? There was like a movie called like Unbreakable or something like that, where like the guy's
Bruce
always
Willis.
yeah Bruce Willis, and he's always like close to like this crazy shit. Or it was
Disaster.
Samuel Jackson. I always feel
Yeah,
like I'm
Samuel
close.
Jackson was class, man.
I feel like I have like this black cloud, and like
Yeah.
all this stuff always like follows
Well,
me.
now you're sitting with the professional hitman that killed the CEO. So look at you. You're around all these world events.
Let's mic you up. We got Christos here.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, sorry I'm late. Just a quick message from our sponsor.
Hold the mic a little back.
Oh, sorry. Just a quick from our sponsor, the Stage Riot Co. This is for Wolfgang. It's a gift for
Oh.
coming on the show.
Cool.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool. It's a little one of those Mario guys.
Yeah, it's Shy Guy. That's Rafi's
Shy-
company.
Okay. Damn, I feel like this is a hat for Korean people,
Well, you're kind of Korean.
kind of. In
You're
what
like
way?
a white Asian guy.
I am technically Asian.
Yeah.
Why Korean, not Chinese, not
Because he's part
Vietnamese.
Indian.
yeah
Yeah.
Korean.
Oh, that actually looks good on him.
Uh-oh.
It's good on you.
I think it might be too small for my big fat fucking head, but
Well, it's adjustable.
it's adjustable. I know, but there's a shame that goes into adjusting. Where you're on the last like little fucking notch in the cap, and you're like, damn, my head's too fucking fat for this shit.
What is the correlation going on between like there's all kinds of like civil disruption going on in Korea, and we're having civil disruption here with the assassination of the CEO of an insurance company?
Late stage capitalism is failing at on a worldwide level, I guess. And I think the overexposure people have to like, we have access to more information about how much things suck just through social media. And I don't know. It's probably TikTok definitely has a lot to do with it. They're running a psyop on us to try to hate capitalism. That they're definitely like feeding a lot of people's feeds with stuff that's like yeah, this shit sucks, and here's all the things about capitalism that are gay, and everybody's saying it's like, yeah, I thought that only happens to me. And there's a means for people to talk about it now, where it's like when there's just one mainstream media news source, which news has now become a very subjective thing. I don't know. This is a very boring, earnest answer, but
I like it. But they do the TikTok shop now.
yeah, that's the thing. Is like now TikTok is like, it's a weird thing where like China is like a have your cake and eat it too situation with capitalism, where they're communists, but they're also like, they've devised an addictive social media platform that only gives people like catharsis and views. Now, if you promise to like peddle shitty Alibaba products, so everybody like is selling stuff, so their pages can get views. Like, because if you sponsor a product and list that like little orange shopping cart in your videos, it will increase the visibility. It's a variable increase, but like it'll make any account that's, I know accounts that were dead and they just finally caved and just started doing only like advertising for these things to try to make money.
And are they making money?
Enough, yeah. I mean, you'd be surprised how much people want to do to not have a real job.
Yeah.
You know? But man,
I'm gonna not have a real job.
yeah, you have like one of the realer jobs, unfortunately.
I do. I keep trying to like, yeah, it just keeps. They keep pulling me back in as much as I try to pull away from it.
Well, at least yours is incentivized with like a lot of money, and
Sometimes
not. I mean,
It's crazy though. Like, you know, these insurance companies, like some of them will pay me incredible. Like I'll do the same thing on two different people, and one insurance company will literally pay me $0, and the other one will pay me a plethora of money. And so it's almost like even I could see how frustrating it is as a consumer, as a patient. It's just like as a provider, like the whole deal is like you guys, you pay your premiums every month. And then the whole entire, like the premise of the insurance companies is that they keep all those premiums and they don't pay it out to the doctors who are doing the care. And so then it turns the doctors and the patients against each other. And then, you know, we're fighting. And meanwhile, these guys are just like laughing, collecting all the money and sitting on their like yachts. It's just,
oh yeah, they British Empired you guys. They sowed dissent among the colonies.
100%.
And yeah, that's why we have India and Pakistan. That's crazy. Yeah, because people do get mad at the doctors because they think that's where the money's going. But no,
Totally.
I mean, like even with the guy that got shot, like he's well paid, but more or less in like concept, he's just a bag man. You know, if $60 million is roughly, I think, what he made last year.
Mm-hmm.
But like in the grand scheme of like the trillions that healthcare companies have generated since COVID, it's nothing. Like you're just getting paid a modicum of what they're taking in.
Well, United Health is one of the highest profit margin.
Yeah, well,
insurance
because they
companies.
deny people at like a rate that's like, I think the 15% is like the standard rate of. I was looking at some model where they're saying like it's like 15 to, and then theirs was 34. I don't know if that was like total claims denied, but like it was something to do with denied claims, and there was like they were basically double everybody else.
Yeah, well, I mean, he wasn't necessarily the pioneer of it.
No,
but
he's just the leadership in the face of it. It's more of a symbolic thing.
Yeah, they implemented this AI
That at a 90%
system.
error rate.
Yeah, or not error rate, but decline rate.
Decline rate? Oh, I thought it was like an error rate as in like it made 90% of mistakes. So it denied 90% of claims.
Most of claims, yeah, because the AI was so regimented and so probably early stage in its implementation that like any veering away from the whole thing resulted in like a denial of your claim.
Well, even with deny on my end as a provider, I constantly have to get like my biller. They'll deny it, and then they'll make her like submit all this other stuff. Like they'll request like images, and then we'll have to appeal it. And like I literally have to hire somebody just to get paid on work I've already done. It's insane.
Yeah, you have to fight with the insurance companies.
Yeah, I have to outsource the fight because I don't even have time to do it. I'm treating patients like. If I had to like get on the phone, it would be insane. And then like to order, like for example, a patient will come in and be like, "Yeah, my shoulder's killing me. I need an MRI." And I'm like, "Listen, if it was up to me, I'd order an MRI. I'd give it to you. You get an MRI because I'd like to take a look at the shoulder." But I'm like, "But what I have to do is I have to have you get physical therapy for 4 to 6 weeks, and then I have to have you come back and write another note saying that, oh, despite getting physical therapy for 4 to 6 weeks, you're still having the pain, and therefore it's medically necessary at this point and this time." And then they still don't approve it, and then the patient gets pissed off at me, hunts me down, and is like screaming at me that I did something wrong and we couldn't get the MRI. It's like,
well,
can't
that's
win.
the medically necessary thing. That's like the biggest scam on like what's determined
Yeah, dude,
as
it took
medically
me.
necessary.
I got a referral pretty quick, but even sometimes then you get the referral and it's like to go see a specialist and the waiting period is insane. Like I had to, because I need an inhaler. I've been using like over-the-counter ones, which are like bad for your heart.
Yeah.
Because they're not even really real inhalers, but like I have asthma now and I've been trying to get a fucking pulmonologist to see me and I got one, but like I scheduled the appointment in September, but the earliest available appointment was like in December.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, yeah, you just have to wait like a fucking lot of
But
time.
that's not
That's
an
even if you
inhaler.
get
You
it.
could, dude, you could just go into like Teladoc and get an inhaler, even a corticosteroid inhaler.
Oh yeah, I just want to get like an evaluation of my lungs though, just to get a
like pulmonary
diet.
function tests.
Because it's like the doctor said he like just put the stethoscope on my back. I was like, well, you're wheezing, and I was like, great. And it's like, do I have asthma? I was like, well, you're gonna need to see a specialist to get that like concretely, like just so insurance companies can like be like, fine, all right, you have asthma.
You have asthma, and therefore we're not going to cover you going
Because you have a
forward.
pre-existing condition.
You have a
even though your
pre-existing
coverage
condition.
started before.
Yeah. And in 2 years, when you try to apply for coverage somewhere else, we're going to make your premium like $300 more than everybody else's.
Pretty much.
It's almost like It's almost like getting shot in the dick, when you're trying to get yourself better. And the funny part about it is that it's not like if you go for these pulmonary function tests, they're going to do anything differently than give you an inhalable albuterol / corticosteroid, asthma pump. It's not like they're going to do anything else to really, fix it. You're just going to have a diagnosis that's going to carry along with you forever. It sucks.
Yep.
Well, maybe you can help Wolfgang get a faster appointment.
I'll tell you what. I'll just write you for the fucking prescription.
we go.
Yeah. You don't have to go to a referral. And just because you get the referral doesn't mean that they're going to even cover that referral. You get the referral, you go to this other guy, and they're still going to stick you with they're like, oh, well, have you met your deductible yet? You have a $5,000 deductible. It's $800 to go to that guy, so you have to pay for the first $800. And then even after you meet that deductible, you only are covered for 70% of it, and you have to pay for the last 30%. And then whatever's left over, the doctor's supposed to come after you for it. So it's like they just make it so it's like impossible as a patient to get the care that you want without spending so much money.
Yeah, there needs to be like a class in high school that says like how to get fucked in the ass by healthcare.
Yeah. Well, one of the big ways is to get on like your company's healthcare, and then if you get laid off, getting on Cobra. Then you'll truly understand how fucked it is.
No, dude, when I got laid off from Bathhouse, they tried to get me on. It's such a big fuck you.
Yeah.
Because they fired me the last day of the month. So I was like, does my health insurance roll over? It's like, no, but here's the Cobra link. And it's just such a big middle finger because it's like every HR person knows when they like send that to, they sign my fucking paychecks. They know I can't afford stuff from Cobra.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, what is it? Like, it's like $300 a month is like
That's for your plan.
for your plan. Yeah.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
I thought it was like the last
Mine
job
was
I was at-
800.
Yeah, mine was 600 the last time I left.
Oh, I didn't know. I was just throwing out a ballpark number. But that's like that's still for what I make. That would crush me, $300 a month. So, congratulations, guys, on having a different standard of getting fucked.
Well, I was in software engineering.
So there you go.
But either way, like it was a fucking scam because it was $800 a month, and then you maintain your original deductible that you're supposed to hit. Now, let's say
That's almost $100,000 a year,
no,
right?
That would be
no,
like
that would be
$10,000.
sorry, no. I'm so sorry.
That's
I was
okay.
thinking $8,000 a month instead of $800.
That would be crazy.
That would be
800
crazy.
a month is
$800
still a lot.
is like still it's still like 10,000. It's
Right, so it's $10,000.
It's
and then-
$9,600.
And it doesn't count towards your deductible.
Yeah.
Most people don't even know what a deductible is.
right.
So like I'll see patients and I'm like, hey,
It's the
they're like,
money-
oh, I have the best health insurance, and I'll look and I'll be like, that's great, but I'm just letting you know, like I'm not getting paid from the insurance company until you've seen me like 20 fucking times.
Yeah, the deductible is the amount you have to pay out of pocket before insurance
Correct.
starts covering stuff.
Correct.
But before it starts covering at 70 to 80%.
Right.
Some of them are even 60% if you're in a lower tier one. And the best part is, let's say you change jobs in the middle of the year and your new company has a different health insurance. You now have to start all over in hitting that same deductible amount with the new insurance because it's
Yeah,
not
of
like it
course.
rolls over.
Yeah, you
course.
see stuff like this when you like throw it at a guy that doesn't know a lot about the health and care industry, but does know a lot about guns. Kind of really does. Is you kind of get the picture like, oh yeah, I can kind of see why somebody with this this background such as mine would do something insane.
The scary part about it is that myself as a doctor, I don't even understand it.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Yeah. I mean, like people ask me, I'm like, I don't know.
Well, because it feels like a game where the rules switch as you're playing the game.
Yep, for sure. And it's like gambling in a casino. The house always wins.
Yeah. Is it like a casino though, where you're good at it and you understand the math, they try to kill you or kick you out of the casino?
Yeah. So sometimes, like, here's the best way to game the system, right? Like, if you have an elective surgery or something in the beginning of the year that allows you to hit your deductible because the surgery costs like $40,000, your insurance comes in at a certain point, you're hitting the deductible, then it's in your best interest financially to get as sick and hurt as much as possible throughout that year so you maintain that like coverage of insurance. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know, you might have like Munchausen's or some sort of thing and like you're just screwed, you're in doctor's appointments. And it's like you convince yourself that you're getting value, right? Because your medical visit is covered, but like you're still paying a little bit out of pocket for the prescriptions that you have to pick up or et cetera. They always win. You never win.
True story. So what do you think, Chris Tos? We were talking a little bit about this whole assassination thing. What's your take on the assassin? Where do you think he's from? What do you think his motive was?
Well, first of all, I think the wife hired him. They're separated.
That's what I was thinking too,
Yeah.
because apparently her reaction seemed very dull.
Yeah, it was very dull. They had a tumultuous
yeah.
relationship.
They had enemies.
Yeah, she said that he had been receiving threats and stuff, but he's a super rich guy. Compared to CEOs, generally he's paid well. So
Yeah. Well, $60 million in a year is pretty good.
$60 million a year for a CEO is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, most good CEOs of that tier are making 10 to 15 a year, but because they're so highly profitable, the
He's
shares
a well-paid
are
bagman.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing with that is that actually helped me. I made a video really quick about like that thing. I just did a set.
Well, I was
that
gonna
night.
say though is that like, sorry,
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's also like really rich people tend to owe people money, which is what you wouldn't think about that, but like there's nothing more than like what really rich people love doing than stiffing people and not paying them money. So I would hazard a guess that he probably also owes people within his industry money.
I think that's a low class rich people thing. Real rich people just owe the bank money.
Yeah, but I mean, what's more low class than somebody that fucking makes money off of sick people?
Well, I mean, he's in the medical field. Like, that whole industry is, it's still pretty prestigious.
It's still prestigious, but people aren't above stiffing people.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely a scumbag. His teeth were kind of fucked up, too.
Yeah, he looked like a Chick-fil-A manager, but like a really bad one.
Yeah. His wife also looked way older than him, so he was definitely having an affair.
Maybe, yeah, you never really know, but like, people don't think about it, but it's like, rich people can be really scummy with money. Like, have you ever, like, gone out to eat with a rich person and you, like, split the bill? They'll, like, Venmo you down to the cent. Where it's like...
Well, they didn't get rich by, being frivolous
generous,
with their, with their money.
Where I'm, like, a poor guy. Like, me and my friends ostensibly owe each other, like, hundreds to maybe $1,000.
Yeah.
And you just kind of let it wash out.
Also, I could see... Because I have a lot of rich friends, and I could see them being worried about being taken advantage of for that reason. Especially like in like those situations.
Yeah.
But anyway, poor guy. That sucked that it happened. I made the joke and I posted it online, and it was very controversial.
Really? I feel like there's been a high level of, at least if you look at like the posts that United Health has made, like their Facebook post got a majority laugh reactions, and then like everybody else like loved and hearted it.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like,
where's the pushback? There are actually people that are like, I feel like this has been the one this has been a unifying issue where like people kind of across the aisle are like, nice.
Yeah, I think for the most part there are people like that, and then there's a lot of people that commented like too soon. I think because a lot of people were making jokes about it, but they were like written or whatever, or just like on the internet.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Continue.
No,
just like there haven't been any. You always see like after somebody's assassinated or something, you always see a candlelight vigil.
Well, I don't know about that.
There's no candlelight vigil for the
CEO.
CEO.
You get a flag at half-mast, or people are like, even the news people seem pretty indifferent. The cops are kind of just like, they're not like, usually when somebody gets away with committing a crime, the cops are like, we'll never stop. We can't allow justice to not prevail. They get like kind of mad that somebody kind of ran game on them. But most of the cops have been glazing this guy, being like, he's calm, collected. He unjammed his gun in real time without freaking out. Like, he'd prepared for this,
Yeah, he was prepared.
I think but are there any flowers and candles at the site on 6th Avenue being laid down on the sidewalk?
No.
Well, I mean,
I think people are taking selfies at it. I know people were going to the Hilton and taking selfies. Hilton put out a sign that said, no firearms are allowed on the premises, which is hilarious.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I mean, is a hitman going to see them and be like,
yeah, I was going to bring my...
stupid.
Son of a gun. Got to follow the rules. But yeah, I mean, it's Midtown in Manhattan.
Nope.
It's a dangerous
it's a lie. It's more of a liability thing rather than a deterrent.
Yeah.
It's just the thing. They're like, oh, fuck, we forgot to put out the sign. But still, it's just like, come on. What are we doing? As a society, what are we kidding ourselves? Like, are we really just going to tacitly acknowledge that anybody willing to carry around a gun in New York City is going to use it? They're not going to be...
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the guy didn't look like it didn't look like he was invested personally in the thing.
Who? The hitman?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, he kind of just did it and like walked off. It literally looked like what Michael Fassbender's character in The Killer does.
Yeah, but I think he wasn't that experienced. Like, I was reading a lot about like how his actions took place, how his shooting was, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it seemed like he was second tier.
We were talking about that on the pod where there was some things like where the way that his gun kept jamming, which probably it can indicate that he used a suppressor that wasn't completely compatible with the ammunition type of his handgun.
Yeah.
And then there's also like the distancing of the kill and the way he did it. Like he was kind of shooting from for what like a usual person with a suppressor and a gun, like they would do a more close range shot to ensure that they hit their target.
Right.
Which it doesn't seem like that because he wasn't in the grand scheme of things, he wasn't even really that far away either. But still, like they would do it a lot closer. But I don't know. I think it's like it's somebody that clearly has like some level of competency. I don't know if it's like it's Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne, but like he's competent enough that he's evaded law enforcement and he's covered his tracks fairly well.
Yeah, which leads me to believe why it might have been his wife that hired him.
Hitman.
Because if it was board level or like C-suite,
That would have been
like,
done in his hotel room.
Yeah,
and it would have been made to look like a suicide.
Yes, and it would have been a level of professionalism.
And it wouldn't have just been one guy. It would have been a team.
Right.
Like, have you ever seen Michael Clayton, the way that they, like, fucking just make it look like a suicide? They choke him out, render him unconscious, and then they inject, like, basically an opioid in between the toes and then put prescription pills in his, like, medicine cabinet. And, like, a guy like that...
Have you been taking notes? Why do you
No,
know
just
so much
fucking,
detail?
You know, and just game recognizes game. But, yeah, I don't know. There was levels of it. But, because the thing is, most people that try to hire hitmen, you have to be really... still rich to like hire a hitman that isn't just going to rat you out for the modicum of reward money. Because a lot of like poor working class hits that get ordered are just somebody that immediately goes to the cops and then rats you out.
Right. But a wife of a CEO in a tumultuous divorce
where there's money on the table and you know you don't want the divorce to go through because then she gets nothing. Like it's
Right.
it's plausible.
And that was interesting what you were saying about how like it was a deterrent that they may have pinned on the shell casings something in regard to somebody with a disgruntled covered life.
Yeah, like as a red herring to throw suspicion away from the wife.
Well, what were the exact words that they said?
Deny, and then
basically
depose.
All things, yeah, so all things that basically lead to a claim not being paid.
But it could also be something that's like an argument between husband and wife. Like
maybe
deny, depose.
Yeah, no, I think that was there as like an intentional red herring because like if I was carrying out a hit on a wife, you want to do everything to throw away suspicion from the spouse,
Right?
Hiring some sort of contract killer. But what we were saying is that I don't know if we said this before we started recording or not. At this point, I think if they do catch him, he's gonna get like black bagged and taken and like turned into some sort of CIA asset or recruited.
Do you think so?
Just from his level of inability to evade law enforcement. Having somebody with like at least enough skill set to evade them for like this long in one of the most like heavily surveilled cities in America.
Yeah.
That takes skill, and just putting that person in a jail cell or sentencing them away seems kind of like a waste of
Talent.
Yeah, talent. If you want to use that word for it, I guess, but like, you know,
Yeah.
he has a propensity for wet work, you know. So.
Yeah, that's a career path I didn't think of.
Yeah, he's like who's the guy, Frank so-and-so from Catch Me If You Can?
Yes.
They hired him to like do stuff for the CIA.
Yeah, to basically investigate wire fraud and for
Check
the
fraud.
FBI.
Yep.
Yeah.
Check fraud. Yeah.
Yeah. Check and wire fraud. Yeah, I mean, because usually with a lot of the recruitment for Central Intelligence, because you can't apply to CIA jobs, they just like have people that go out and recruit assets in the field and they bring you in for interviews. They do, at least for like field agents, most of the recruiting they do is over at BYU because they're all Mormon kids. And in the faith of Mormonism, America is basically their Israel, like that's their holy land. So they have like devout Mormons are more than likely to just carry out orders on behalf of like the well-being of America without any moral qualms, more than any, you know, discernible demographic.
Right.
So that's where they do a lot of their recruitment. But sometimes, yeah, there's just somebody out in the world that's nice with it, and they just, you know, scoop them up.
And they have multiple wives, so they're used to a lot of yapping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know how that relates to stopping terrorism, but I felt the spirit with that, and I'll agree. I'll give you the yeah.
Well, because they're surveilling. Most of the time, they're surveilling. They're listening. They're studying.
But most people that have wives yapping don't actually listen. Actually, I would say a lot of lack of active listening skills are why most marriages kind of collapse. Because they have a lot of divorces, I feel like, and people leaving the faith.
The
Mormonism?
the CIA.
Yeah,
the CIA, they encourage you to date other people in the CIA. Apparently, so I listened to John Kiriakou. He's like this Greek CIA agent. He was
Kiriakou.
Kiriakou, excuse me.
That sounds Japanese.
So he was actually
talk about
and
that.
so he actually got recruited at George Washington. He was going to college in George Washington, and one of his professors wasn't really just a professor. He was actually a recruiter for the CIA, and he was like, "Oh, dude, you got to come in." And like, he's like, "I'm actually
Agent
not
Cody
just."
Banks.
He was Agent Cody, yeah. So he Agent Cody Banks them, and then he became like. Yeah, amazing stories. Like I watch a bunch of.
It's
stuff
so
on the
lame how
internet
when I
about
was in high school I wanted somebody to do that to me, but I just don't think I was good enough at like hard skills like math and science.
You're
and
still
literacy.
at that, bro. You're still recruitable in your 20s. You're young enough.
Yeah, but I feel
Shoot
like
for the stars.
I have a significant social media following. I feel like they would want somebody more 200 followers, low profile that could just disappear.
That's me.
Not somebody with a popular black Instagram comedy sketch that everybody liked.
Wait, you didn't explain why they want you to date within the CIA. Though.
Yeah.
Oh, because I believe that they want you to be able to share certain lifestyles and certain secrets, I suppose. Whereas if you are if you work for the CIA and you are dating a civilian, you have to essentially, you can't say anything supposedly to
Lioness.
the civilian.
Yeah.
And then it just leads to, divorce. And then unfortunately, if you may have disclosed some like secret information to a civilian, all of a sudden now you put society at risk, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, suicide by double gunshot.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the show Lioness, dude. That's one of those new Taylor Sheridan shows that everybody loves.
I've never seen it.
You guys don't watch those like Paramount Plus shows?
No, I don't have Paramount.
So
Plus.
you'd like
Yeah.
this Taylor Sheridan. He's like this like macho dude ranch. Like he's Jewish, but he's like a cowboy,
Okay.
and he writes all these like neoconservative shows for Paramount Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So he writes Landman. He wrote Yellowstone.
Okay.
He made
Tulsa King?
Tulsa King.
I love Tulsa King.
He does all those shows, dude. I don't know if he's like the head writer, if he just attaches his name to all of them, but those are all his projects. Like Landman's great, but Lioness is like it's so heavy-handed the way that the writing's done, but it's like about like this basically this task force that Nicole Kidman leads, and it's like the squad leader is Zoe Saldana, and they're all like women, they're all like badass mamacitas, and there's guys in it too that work for the CIA and stuff, but. It's like this show starts with like just this big cold open where like she loses an asset in the Middle East and they have to like danger close bomb her because her cover's blown and there's all these dudes in turbans like kind of trying to find her and like they pull her out of the floorboards and Zoe Saldana has to like call in an airstrike and then it cuts to like just the life of one of these operatives before they get recruited. It's this Puerto Rican lady and she's like slinging burgers. And she's like, working this dead-end job and then goes back home. And she lives in this trap house with her boyfriend and like all of his friends that like, do drugs and stuff. She's handing everybody burgers. They're all like ungrateful. It's like, bitch, I said double cheese. And
So
shit
basically,
like that.
AOC.
AOC. What AOC claims her life was.
She's from my hometown.
Really? Where's your hometown?
Bronx?
In Yorktown.
In Yorktown?
Yeah.
That's a quiet little town.
Yeah, I know. She claims to be from the Bronx, but
she's not.
No, she's not.
Yeah, that's like technically, it wouldn't even be considered part of Yonkers.
No, not even close. It's
That's crazy.
Probably one of the whitest places in America.
Yeah, but like this woman, she's like, he's like, her boyfriend's like abusive. He's like, bitch, why you don't shake your ass anymore? You working at that burger place and whatever. And she like sasses back. He like hits her. And then his friend's like, yo, you need to trade your bitch for a new model and all that stuff. She wakes up and is like, I've had enough of this. I'm getting out of here. And she like hits him upside the head with a frying pan 3 times. And like runs out and he's like chasing her through the neighborhood in his boxers and they like run. He chases her to the strip mall and she's like banging on all the doors trying to get in. He's like, yeah, let me in. And she bangs on one. He tackles her and they fall through into the one door that's unlocked. And then just the biggest, blackest Marine walks up and it's a recruiting office. And he's just like, you leave that lady alone, boy. He's like, this ain't your business. Like, your business with the United States Marines now. And it's Jack Black guy. He's not Jack Black, but Jack Black guy.
Jack
Black.
the
You
black
can't,
guy.
you can't beat him. He knows he's outmatched. He just fucking storms out, breaks the window on his way out. And he's like, looks like you need a place to stay now. And then that's how she gets like into the armed forces. And she's then recruited through the Marines based on her like work in the field, like I think in like Afghanistan or whatever. But it's so heavy-handed, but it's such a like an entertaining show. The writing is so on the nose. Like this character I was talking about ends up being like, she like leses and rizzes up like every fucking asset they recruit. Like she's
Nice.
always getting the hot new ass.
Hell yeah.
But it's like Taylor Sheridan writes his fantasies into the show.
Dude, for sure. That's Tulsa King. It's the same thing.
It's his yeah, because like there's one where like this fucking doctor type guy, he's married to Zoe Saldana, and like they have like mixed kids together, and like one of them gets called like the N-word at a soccer game, so she punches this white bitch out, and like they throw the game because of it, and he's mad at her.
Wait, the mom watching the soccer game called the kid the N-word?
The daughter gets called it, and she like punches the girl that called her it. And it gets
the girl in the thing?
Yeah, the girl in the thing in the soccer game. Like they have to forfeit because she punched the girl. And the dad's yelling at her. He's like, whatever, you don't understand. You're just a white man. And he just like stops the car and delivers this monologue. He's like, I'm your father before I'm anything. Before I'm white, before I'm a doctor, I am your father. And you're not. Just like, you can tell like Taylor wishes like, I wish I had a black daughter to yell this at. Like, I wish I had a black daughter that I could yell at to tell, you don't get to call me the N-word.
So you can say, I voted for Obama.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally that type of guy. He's just like a strong stay-at-home. He's not even a stay-at-home dad. He's like an emergency room doctor.
Oh, really?
But like he has to hold the fort down while Zoe's like doing like wet work out in the Middle East, and he can't tell his daughters what she does for a living. Mm-hmm. And he just has to be like, I'm holding the house together while you're out. It's just a complete like.
But he's like really white looking.
Yeah, he looks like he is Matt McCusker. Like he looks.
I don't know that reference.
Oh, it's the guy that does
Gillis's,
Shane Gillis' co-host.
podcast.
Oh, okay.
Come on, man.
I'm sorry.
Now you're making me look like a fan, but that's a guy everybody knows.
Gillian Keeves.
You're making me look like a fanboy.
I'm not a fanboy. I'm only a fan of Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's good. But yeah, it's literally just like a white, bearded, salt and pepper haired guy.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Dude, the best part of Tulsa King is like how everyone just like moves out of Sylvester Stallone's way. He's like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm gonna come and take over this, weed place, and the guy's like, okay, I'll
Yeah.
just give you all our money for protection.
And he's the most immobile he's ever been.
Yeah.
Like all the Botox in his body is like solidifying and turning into cement.
Yeah, he's just like, and
Yeah, he moves like he's in a Batman suit.
yeah.
where
And
he
all the
can't turn
women
his
just
neck.
want to have sex with him for some reason. He's like in his 70s, and they're like, he's so fucking hot.
I'm gonna get up for you now. I just gotta do the Trembolone injection in my ass. And yeah, just does
Dude,
that.
he just like in like barrage of gunfights is just like, hey, buh. And then they're like,
Just
he's so
not
good.
a moving target.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the best.
Yeah, John Stick.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
John Stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the women.
assassin the mob never hide.
And then the Uber driver or whatever is like his getaway car driver or
That's
whatever.
so awesome.
Oh my god, he's just like, what's a Uber? Because he was in jail, for so
So
long.
his getaway driver is a guy with geolocating, like he uses a driver that has a GPS in his phone that tells him exactly where he's going.
Is that what happens?
Well, no, it's an Uber driver. I'm just saying.
Well, he used to be an Uber driver, but he pays.
Oh,
him.
now he's the getaway. I thought he was calling Ubers to use as a getaway. I'm like,
Nah.
they're geotagged, dude. They're gonna know exactly where you're getting away to.
Yeah, no, he's just a young, charismatic black guy that drives
Right.
him somewhere, and then he's like, you can make a lot of money with me. I'm gonna be king of Tulsa, and then he just
Damn.
hires.
So
him.
he's doing Driving Mrs. Daisy,
yeah,
but like with like Sylvester Stallone as like a mob guy.
yeah, and they're like, what's he? What you can't trust him. I forgot his character's name in the show, but
Yeah.
they're like, you can't trust him, and he's like, you could trust him because he was in jail for 30 years. He never ratted, and then he really like takes that to home.
He takes it to heart.
Yeah, it takes it to heart.
That's okay. I've been flubbing a lot of words too, dude. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I broke my toe, possibly on the way here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I got off the phone with you, I was telling him I like made my bed, and the dog had like hit a bone under the covers, so it flew out and just landed directly on my toe as soon as I like fluffed the covers to make the bed.
Are you making the bed because Jordan Peterson told you to?
No, because he tells you to do it as soon as you wake up. I woke up like 8 hours ago. I just didn't make the bed. I just got out of bed and went on a run and forgot to make it.
Which foot is it, left or right?
Right foot.
My left foot. I hurt my left foot. I think I have some plantar fasciitis.
Oh, dude, you should get some Hokas.
Yeah? No, I couldn't wear those. I mean, those
Why?
look fine for you, but I think most of the ones I've seen were very ugly.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think they would look bad on you?
Just because, everything looks bad on me in general. So, for the most part.
Yeah, hokas with a chain would be like a tough.
Yeah,
tough
it would be
combo.
tough. Yeah, you need to wear like a sweater like that, and I can't.
You can't. I don't know. I feel like this would work. Just dress how you comfortably. That's what I say.
We could talk about that
Fashion.
fashion.
Let's make it into a fashion podcast.
No,
I'm wearing murder yoga.
I like the hokas. The ones that are really cool that I've seen are the ones that look like space jets.
I mean, these are kind of like Yeezys a little bit. They're like weirdly shaped in the back and stuff. I don't know. I like them.
Yeah.
Colombian nurses with giant butts like them. Why are you too good for them?
Well, I'm not a nurse.
They're expensive.
Are they?
They're like 135. They're pretty.
I just bought my girlfriend one for a pair for $300.
Yeah.
They're like marathon ones.
Oh damn! No, I just
Yeah.
got the Clifton 9s. They were like 135 or something.
Where
like
do you
that.
see the Colombian nurses with the big asses?
Well, no.
Elmhurst?
No, I just kind of see them whenever I go to like any like I had to go to the emergency room in Park Slope one time.
Oh, you
when I
went to
had
Methodist.
Yeah, when I had a
So that's the answer,
when I had a
Methodist.
friggin' asthma attack. I think they're just everywhere in New York City. They're probably more prevalent in the Bronx and stuff, but I just think that's like a very popular demographic for being a nurse.
Yeah, I'm in Queens. Most of them are Filipino.
Oh damn, dude.
Yeah, most nurses in New York City are. Well, a lot of them are Filipino.
Yeah.
But I used to work at Elmhurst. There was a ton of Colombian nurses. They would bring me pan con queso. There was an amazing Colombian bakery down the street.
That's really tight.
It was
so
it
cool.
was good times. Yeah, working at Elmhurst was like, dude, that was amazing. Like I saw
I thought
stuff
that's
there.
like the worst hospital ever.
It is the worst hospital ever, but it's the best hospital
I had
ever
a-
to train at.
I had a
because
bar
you see
regular.
everything.
That would like go to that part of town. He was like, cause this is when I worked at a bar in the Upper West Side, and he was just telling me how he used to go to that part of town because he's a white guy, but he's like, I just loved Latina pussy. I loved Colombian women, so I just like.
That's where they're at.
He's like, I just took my white ass down there, and he's like, and this was the '80s and the '90s, so it was not good to be white in those parts of town. But he just, I don't know.
Well, back in the 80s and 90s, Woodside, which is adjacent to Elmhurst, was very Irish. That's where I live.
Really?
Yeah, it was a very Irish neighborhood. So actually, I think it would have been a good thing. But at the time, it was probably more Latin in the Elmhurst part. But now it's very like South Asian.
That's good. I don't really know the demos too much outside of where I like have lived because I'm not from New York. But I mean, I just know like the basic ones where it's like Flushing, Asian people. Astoria,
Elmhurst is
Greek.
everything. Elmhurst is like the Epcot center of New York City, or actually of the whole world. Like I used to work at that hospital, and over like in the loudspeaker, you would hear if anybody speaks and just like name your language, like
Tibetan,
Hmong, like Tibet. Sometimes we would have like these telephones where there'd be like two telephones. You would or two handles. You would pick up one handle. You give it to the other patient, and you'd like call the AT&T operator, and you'd say, "Hey, I think this person speaks Chinese," and they would like speak Chinese to him and be like, "Actually, this person speaks a dialect from a place that's so far away. We don't even have somebody that could speak to them. I'm sorry, sir. Like that place is another planet."
Well, there's a lot of like Himalayan, Nepalese, Tibetan people also adjacent to Elmhurst.
Yeah.
But Elmhurst doesn't really have public transportation.
Do people from Tibet speak Taiwanese? Is that what they speak?
No, they have I forgot the name of the language. They have multiple languages there.
Yeah.
And then the funny thing is like there's I think a lot of Tibetans speak Chinese too.
That's crazy. Because in Nepal, the people speak Nepalese, but also a lot of people just speak Hindi as well.
Look at the board.
Oh, what a language is spoken. I forgot we have this. Thank you, Nat. Yeah, the Wutan language, Wotan language.
Porpa.
Yeah. See, okay, so
Pumia.
my passport bro knowledge was correct. They
Hell
have
yeah.
many, but in Taiwan they speak Cantonese generally. Cantonese Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what they speak in Hong Kong as well, right?
Yeah.
I just know because they speak Cantonese in a lot of Jackie Chan kung fu movies.
Is Hong Kong Cantonese, Nat? Maybe. Beijing and those kind of places are very Mandarin heavy.
Fuck it. Chinese, Japanese, Cantonese, Lakers in 4.
I know the word for pain. Pong.
Cantonese, yeah.
Cantonese? All right, nice. Hong
Sick.
Kong is Cantonese.
It looks like I pooped on my jeans.
I speak a little bit of Cantonese.
What do you say? What do you know how to say?
I just know fighting words.
Okay.
from kung fu movies?
No. So when I used to live in Japan, and actually this came out, I was with a couple of comics. I was picking up a bottle of whiskey for my brother, and I was speaking Cantonese to the guy.
What kind of whiskey?
This was Buffalo Trace.
Oh, that's yeah.
It's a good whiskey. And
You should go to the place next to my house this time about it. It's all like, it's run only by like women. It's one of those liquor stores. So all the whiskey is like way under market value. Like I got a bottle of Henry McKenna for like $45.
because
Bottle and
women
bond.
don't know what whiskey costs.
I just don't think they give a shit about it. I think they can know. They have the propensity to know, but like I don't think any of the girls that run it like really drink it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to them. They're more of like tequila. They have a larger tequila and vodka section, but they have all these good whiskeys that they get just to sell. But they're like at a steal. Like it was Buffalo for 40, Henry McKenna for 45.
That's pretty good.
Bottle and bond, Henry McKenna for 45. I would at least charge like 65.
Yeah. Well, I travel internationally a lot, so I usually go to the duty free and get some of these. But I'll try it. I'll
Yeah,
go.
duty free is a good spot to get it. Yeah,
Yeah, but
because Australia, any American whiskey is like a luxury there, just because of the import taxes.
well, American bourbon is good.
It's good. I like Scotch better.
You like Scotch better? Why?
I just think it's a more. There's more like subtle. It sounds stupid because I don't know. I feel like there's more subtlety to it. Even though like it's a hotter, and sometimes if you get like stuff from Isla, it's like peatier, but there's more of a complexity to the flavor. Whereas there's so much like sweetness because it's corn based, and they don't really use they don't reuse barrels. They use American white oak barrels one time, and then they sell it, and they resell a lot of those to Scotch distillers. So Scotch companies will use American bourbon barrels that have aged bourbon, or they'll use sherry barrels that have aged sherry in Spain, and they'll age their whiskeys in that, and it just makes for more interesting flavors.
That's what they do at the Brooklyn, the one we went to.
Yeah, that place is amazing.
Yeah, you should go there. That's
It's called
really cool.
Kings County Brewery.
Kings
Yeah.
County Brewery.
Or not brewery, I'm sorry. Kings County
Distillery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
But anyway, so I'm over at the place. And I'm getting whiskey, and I'm speaking Cantonese to the guy, and he's like, "How do you know Cantonese?" And I was like, "I used to live in Japan."
Yeah.
And he was like, "How does that mean you know Cantonese?" And I was like, "Because the only time I ever fought with anyone in Japan, they were Chinese."
Oh, nice.
You know? So
Did he like that?
yeah, he loved that because he knows that's how it is. Like the Japanese are so conflict averse, and then the Chinese in Japan stick out like a sore thumb based on their cultural principles that they have. So
Yeah.
altercation will happen more often with a Chinese person.
Yeah. In Japan, is there ever like a horror movie where it's just a Japanese guy riding the train in New York? There's just like all the faux pas are like, this is a nightmare.
Dude, riding the train in New York sometimes is way better than in Japan.
Really?
The hard on that people have for Japan is so misplaced. Like
I've never been, so everything is like through secondhand.
You're not even allowed to
information.
speak on the subway in
no,
Japan.
you're not allowed to speak because you're a loud motherfucker.
Well, that's true. I was just speaking, and my girlfriend was like, "You need to be quiet." I'm like, "I'm just fucking talking. I'm just
Because
talking
you're
here."
loud. You could talk quiet.
That's what I'm saying is that like, you know, on the train in Japan, it seems like people have to be very quiet. People are like punched in. But in New York, like people, you know, fight. People fucking break dance.
Yeah, but they're
spit,
air
they're loud.
conditioned well.
And
So in the
Jap-
summer, you do not want to be on a train in Japan.
Really?
Yeah, because they don't run as hot as like
Well, they don't have
European.
BO, so they don't need to like
exactly.
worry about air conditioning as much.
Some of them have BO for sure. But
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I was like seeing a thing on like TikTok where like an Asian guy was saying that like a lot of Asian people don't have the gene for BO, so they'll sweat but they won't like produce body odor or something.
Yeah, there's a thing with that, like with the wet earwax, dry earwax thing, like you know, but there are some Japanese people with serious BO. But anyway, over there in the train, you're super packed, less air conditioning, really, really hot and humid in Tokyo in August, especially. I would take a train in New York City with a guy yelling "Showtime" in the summer any day over Japan.
I mean, I would too, just because it's more interesting. I just thought that like given like just putting a Japanese person that's used to like kind of this antisocial, but incredibly like condensed traveling experience and throw them into like, you know, like a guy's literally a homeless guy's jacked off onto the Hims ad, so there's comes all over, you know. Do you remember
Which
that?
is ironic.
It was like they had those Hims for women. They had those Hers ads, and they had this like beautiful light skinned girl. And every time I saw that ad, somebody had like jacked off onto the light skinned girl.
I mean, if you had no access to porn, what would you do?
Go to the library, try to watch it there, which is what a lot of them do.
Oh, really?
A lot of guys try to find like porn, like there's blockers, but like you'll see dudes Googling boobs or like trying to like use the Wi-Fi on their phone to watch porn on their library and like use a VPN. Like that's like a big. If you're a library technician and like you've like gone to school to basically work in libraries, which actually you do got to get a degree for, I figured out is most of your job is trying to keep homeless people from using the internet to jack off in the library.
What do you do, Judson?
I go to the library, but I use
makes
VPN.
So Wolfgang, you're 27?
26.
26. So you've always had access to porn.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I was a late bloomer too, so like yeah.
I could tell.
Yeah, I didn't really start jacking off till I was like 14.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I started jacking off when I was like 3.
That's because you're Greek, and a lot of you there's a long history of sexual abuse of children in your country.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, philosophy is rooted in pedophilia.
Is that true?
Yeah, if you could read most of like if you
No, I know that part, but I mean, is that the reason why I just instinctually figured out how to masturbate?
I think so. I think there's just like there's a level of like horniness to the old world cultures that doesn't really exist here. It's not as pervasive because we're like very waspy in America. Wasp culture is sort of the foundation of like a lot of the country's like, you know, social cues and norms.
That's true. My dad, when he would see attractive women, he would, you know, even as we were children, he would just be like, "Bombo, bombo."
I used
and we'd be like, "Okay."
I used to joke that like any country where like you have like you're on the sea and you can look out on the ocean, that's where men cheat the most because it turns you into a dreamer. You think of like all the possibilities. Something about looking on the horizon, like in the Dominican Republic, they're like, "Man, what if I fucking cheat on my fucking wife right now, man?"
It's crazy because that kind of culture is so true. I think, yeah, that's crazy.
But at the same time, that's like most cultures. I feel like is like. We in America like to act like it's like, yeah, it's these specific ethnic groups, but I feel like that's just because we're waspy. Like most people have big families, most people are loud, you know, like most people have big barbecues. It's just, I feel like normal. I feel like there's more people that do that than don't.
Is your family loud?
No, because we're very waspy, because my dad's like a wasp. But my mom's like an Indian lady, but, you know, moved here when she was 15, so like I don't know. Indians like don't unless you were like a full-grown adult that moved here, you don't really hold on to your culture that much.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
I think it's
outside of weddings.
Yeah.
Weddings you put on all the like ceremonial garb and stuff, but like I would never see my mom in a sari unless we were at like a Indian wedding.
Really?
Yeah, like that's the only time I think I've ever seen her wear like traditional like Indian clothing. My grandma will dress in that stuff all the time, but yeah, my mom doesn't.
Why do you think there is such a rejection?
You want to assimilate, you know. I think it's just because they're the ones that had to go to public school.
Oh.
So they had to like endure the ostracization of like being like weird Indian people with like smelly lunches and like being very different in a time where like you probably could get away with being super racist to somebody and bullying them.
Yeah.
So I think their goal was just like, yeah, I don't want to be like my parents. They're dorks. I'm going to try to become more American. And the idea of what American is evolved into like being a cool black guy. So now Indian kids, I feel like, try to do the cool black guy route.
Yeah, a lot of the Filipino kids in my town, they try to do the cool black guy thing.
Yeah, it's a solid route, and I don't fault anybody for taking it. It does seem like the coolest route.
Yeah, I would say so. What do you think?
I think I agree. I think that things are totally different when I was a kid. I mean, now it's like you can't say anything. Back then, yeah, people were pretty, let's just say they were pretty liberal with their treatment of other cultures.
Oh, yeah. I think there's like, from where that started and where we're at now, there's probably a place in the middle we should try to meet. Because I feel like we've overcorrected, but at the same time, I feel like it is like, well, it was bad. That's why the overcorrection happened.
Fair.
I don't know. I don't think about it too much. I just think about, I kind of live in a perpetual state of using like new PS5 games coming out to like make me look forward to the future. I don't really like have much investment in like culture war stuff.
What game are you playing right now?
I've been replaying a lot of old games because there hasn't been anything new coming out that I really enjoy. The last new
Dragon
game,
Ball Sparking, bro.
I've never been really good into the fighting games. Like the last big game I played was like the Spider-Man game that came out in 2023.
Oh, the Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
But besides that, I played Helldivers a lot when it came out because that's just a good game to like shoot stuff with your friends. But I don't know, I've just been replaying old like Batman Arkham games and stuff.
It's cool. My parents don't let me play video games.
Yeah, that's okay.
Aren't your parents dead?
Yeah,
Yeah, but he probably, still honors their memory by not playing video games.
that's right. No tattoos, no video games.
You have
Respect.
0 tattoos?
No tattoos. No tattoos, no piercings, no video games.
They're just such a time waster, though. I feel like-
Tattoos?
no, video games. I guess tattoos, too, because you got to sit in the chair for so long while they do it.
Yeah.
I came home once with a fake tattoo from California, and I was like taking my shirt off and going into the bathroom. My mom's like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "What?" And it looked like I was trying to hide it from her, but then I kind of like went with it, and she's like, "Wait, what is that on your back?" And I'm like kind of hiding from her. She's like, "Let me see that." And I had like a spider back there, and she's like, "Oh my God, your dad is gonna kill you." I'm like, "Don't tell him. Listen, like we went to Tijuana. The guy said the needle was clean. Like it's totally fine." And she's like, I can't. I'm like, "Please don't tell dad." So she goes and tells my dad. My dad came into my room and literally like lost his mind on me. Was like, I thought he was gonna cry, and I swear, like I'm like, "Dad, I'm just kidding." Like I start like peeling it off, and he's like, and even like to this day, I still like. I see my parents doing that, and like I could literally, for that reason, I still at this age can never get a fucking tattoo.
Would
Was
you
it
let
a-
your daughter get a tattoo?
Was it a religious thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think because they're Jews, I think that was part of it. But also back then, like if you had a tattoo, like in the '80s, that was like bold, dude.
Yeah,
like,
you seem
like
scummy.
yeah. I mean, if you had a tattoo, like that was,
They
it
were
was
also
not-
horrible tattoos.
They're horrible tattoos. I mean, the only like people who had like tattoos that were like, acceptable were like military people, or if you were like a biker. Like there was no like college kids walking around with like sleeved and stuff.
I love a tattooed babe.
Yeah, I agree. I have a lot of tattoos.
Yeah. Would you have like patchwork or do you have like sleeves?
I don't have any sleeves, but I have like kind of all over my chest, all over my back, on my shoulders, on my feet.
I've never gotten one.
Really? It's honestly, if I could go back, I would probably remove 4 of my tattoos.
If you get them removed, though, it's like it
Looks
just looks like a bad scar.
It looks like all bruised and like a bad scar. I agree.
Yeah, it's funny. They do those tattoo removals that are like, because the internet's so racist again. It stopped being for a second with censorship, but it's kind of just
Super
gone
racist.
back to it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh God, if you're Indian on the internet, good luck, brother. Comment sections are brutal, but like a lot of those like tattoo artists, they'll do removal videos where like it's basically a guy that has like white supremacy tattoos that he got in prison, and they'll like remove them, but like all the comments will be like, another angel's lost his wings.
That's
like,
great.
It's just like that's insane.
Oh yeah, our time is almost up. I think we have a we'll do rapid fire questions.
Sure.
Did you do any questions for Wolfgang?
Nope.
Did we get to know Wolfgang at all?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I got to know Wolfgang in the car to our last closed door behind you up in upstate New
Westchester,
York,
yeah.
Westchester.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were chit chatting.
Okay. So you ready for lightning round questions?
Sure. Lay 'em
Okay.
on me.
This is how we close it out every single time. What's your favorite pizza?
Bronx Bomber. It's like a pizza with like Italian sausage, tarragon, and pepperoni.
Where can you get that?
Ironically, not a lot in New York. There's a place that I grew up near called Brick's Pizza. This is all right pizza for North Carolina, and I would get that a lot
Do you prefer living in North Carolina or New York?
in New York.
Why?
There's just more stuff to do.
What kind of stuff do you do?
The thing is, you don't really do anything. There's just like the possibility of doing stuff. Like I used to work at a bathhouse that was powered by cryptocurrency, and they had a restaurant. You can't really do that in North Carolina. It's more of just having the choices, but then still doing nothing that I like.
If you could go back in time, what advice would you give yourself?
Don't do comedy.
Why?
Be rich. Be rich. Drive a fast car. Cheat on everybody.
Do
Don't be.
Do you think you could ever be rich on comedy?
No.
Why?
I just feel like early on if you're a person that hits green lights or not, and you're a person that hits red lights, and it's only been red lights. I think I'm gonna work in restaurants forever.
Why have you only hit red lights?
I don't know. It's just like fate, the universe, cosmic forces that are beyond our understanding.
What's a red light?
Just being impeded. Like you got to go do a gig in like Iowa, but oh, your dog got hit by a car, something crazy like that, or you dropped a bone on your foot and it broke your toe. Or just little things like that. Your house has mold, but you're about to put out a comedy special, but now you have to pay to move and get the mold evaluated so you can do a lawsuit. Like things like that.
Do you think that's the universe telling you to do something different?
Maybe it's just tests. Maybe it's just random bad luck. I don't know. I feel like if you want to do something, you should do it. But like, I don't know. You have to like be very stalwart in your pursuit of it.
What was your best performance ever?
Best performance ever.
The one you enjoyed the most.
The one I enjoyed the most, probably out in this place called Fargo, North Dakota. I did a comedy club called The Cellar.
Okay.
Is in a place underneath this brewery called Front Street Tap Room. Not a brewery, but a beer hall. And it was just such a tight room. It was like 80 people. And I remember I made basically the town's only old black guy get up and do an old black guy laugh, and he smacked the wall a couple times. And I was like, wow, I'm the best comedian ever.
Cool. I like that.
What's a secret hack that you know that more people should know about?
About what? Anything?
Yeah,
like anything. You don't have to wait for your group to go up on a flight. You don't have to wait for your boarding group. They're starting to check it now, but for the longest time, and I feel like they still don't do this enough, you can just go up out of turn. If you're in group 6, try going in group 2, group 3 even.
What's the advantage of that?
I don't know. Just waiting sucks. You have to wait behind a bunch of bozos that like can't like lift the luggage they packed into the overhead compartment. I'm pretty quick. I always have 2 carry-on items. You know, I have a backpack and a light suitcase, and I just get into my seat and take a nap.
Did you just slide in the line?
Yeah, you just slide in the line.
Nice. Okay, aisle or
Aisle.
middle? You like the middle seat?
Aisle seat.
Aisle.
I gotta shit a lot.
Do you shit a lot? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I always get like coffee on the plane, and that makes me have to shit my pants.
You sure you don't have colitis or something?
I could have colitis. I have a pretty bad digestive system, but I haven't really. I went to a gastroenterologist, and he said that I didn't have colorectal cancer or anything from the stool test, which it's crazy. Nobody tells you that they give you a bag to poop in, and you have to put it in your freezer. Mm-hmm. And when you have roommates, like putting your poop in the fridge is crazy.
Yeah,
they actually don't do that. That's just a really sadistic.
Yeah, I've never heard that. I've never had to do that.
Really? They made me. They gave him a stool sample.
Where did you go?
I gotta do that to my patients.
I went to like someplace through the Summit Health Group.
Yeah, that sounds like a fucking weird pervert doing that to you.
I had a friend that had to do that too recently.
He's probably going to the same guy.
No, he went to a different group.
I know you're here for back pain, and I did a couple injections, but I'm gonna need you to shit in this bag. Keep it in your fridge and actually in the freezer, better yet. And when you see me in a couple weeks, bring it back to me.
Yeah, do a colonoscopy, then you'll know everything for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I feel like you'd like it.
I might just, I don't know. I might just keep doing cleanses to try to keep my gut healthy. But I don't know. There's something about, though, being a guy, even if you don't have digestive issues, guys really always wait to poop at the last minute, and girls wait to pee at the last minute.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Also, girls don't poop as much.
They don't, but like they plan their poops out. Like my girlfriend's pretty methodical with her pooping, whereas like she'll have to like pee and be like, "Oh my god, I have to go." And it's like, as a guy, I guess because you can kind of piss anywhere, pee's not really big of an issue. I'm never like having to pee really bad, but I'll
just wait. Just wait, bro. Just wait.
Oh well, that's something to look forward to. Also, I guess. Yeah.
Why is that? Why is it that
as we get older, our prostates get bigger, and then what happens is it restricts the outflow of urine, and then your bladder expands little by little, and then your receptors on your bladder are like always going, and then when you go to void, you're not voiding completely because you have like your prostate
weak flow.
Yeah, so it's just like it's fucking bizarre.
How do we stop this?
You get a TURP, which is a transurethral resection of the prostate, or
you got to be trans.
You do have to be trans.
It's like gynecomastia surgery.
You have to take estrogen.
You can take minoxidil. Minoxidil will help because it's like
it'll give you your hair back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you could do that, or you can just not give a shit and just pee all the time, which is what I do.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't like the feeling of not being able to finish my pee to completion.
Speaking of which, I want to pee right now.
Okay.
And I think we got to pee because we got to go. We got 15 minutes to get in the car, round up everybody who's going to the Double Tap tonight. Double Tap Brewery, Parsippany.
Whippany, New Jersey.
Whippany, New Jersey.
It's a sold-out show. You're going to love this show. Everyone that does this show loves it.
I can't wait to see the racist puppet. I've heard about him.
You've never seen him before? Oh, my God. I love it. He was actually our last podcast guest host.
Did he bring the puppet on?
Yeah, of course he brought the puppet.
Is that... So he's literally a Batman villain.
You're going to see. I think it's a very strange situation.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great show, and this show the comics get paid.
Okay.
Yeah, not you though.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't want to get paid anyways.
All right, anything you want to plug so we could say bye?
I have a special coming out on January the 6th. Please watch it. It'll be on my YouTube, Wolfgang Hunter, on youtube.com.
Oh, dude, January 6th, I got something going on that day.
Well, you're going to
It's
celebrate?
an anniversary of
Yeah.
sorts for me. Why January 6th specifically?
Because it's a funny date to release it. There's a lot of stuff on politics, and I also like have an old joke from from that set I was talking about at the Cellar that I'm gonna put at the beginning of the special and then go into the special, and it's gonna be a little over an hour because there's some sketches in it too.
Nice.
So it's gonna be like roughly 45 minutes of stand up and then like maybe 20 minutes of sketches.
That's pretty cool.
And I hope it's not too long, but like I just want to put something out that's like good.
What motivated you to do that hybrid?
I just thought it'd be fun. A lot of people just put out a stand-up special, and like I think that's kind of boring and limiting if you're not doing it through like a network or like something like that. If it's your own thing that you can put out, and you have more to offer than stand-up, I think you should showcase that. I think it can be people put too much stock into the stand-up basket. You need to, I think, it's not even really you need to show versatility. I think if you're versatile and you enjoy making different things, like it's more of, honestly, it's that I enjoy doing sketches too.
And you play guitar. You're not doing anything with the guitar on there?
I'm doing the music for it. So
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why you need the drum set.
Yeah, that's why I need I'm actually going to my friend's like a famous TikTok musician. His name's Spilly Cave, and I'm going to his house in Harrisburg, and we're just going to cut the soundtrack for it.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited about that. And yeah, so I get to do all the three things that I like doing the most: music, sketch, and stand up. And I think it's a labor of love, and people will enjoy it. And if not, that's okay. I had fun making it, and I got to include all my friends that I could into the process of it. So
Sounds like a green light if you ask me, not a red light.
awesome.
Yeah.
well, yeah, sometimes you just got to run a red light, dude. If you hit a red light, fucking run it. Who
Yeah,
cares?
like
Don't be
a-
a dork.
Like an Asian person. All right.